All right, welcome everybody to the first round of the Gauntlet in BTL. Here we have the Wingmen versus Imagine Cloud, with the record of 1-6 and 2-5 going into this best of three Gauntlet to determine who moves on to the next round and plays here at 9 o'clock. Today with me, I have Frostbite, Red Strike, and Zarathai joining me on the cast. We'll let everyone say hi as the guys begin draft.
How's it going, everyone? Frostbite here.
Hello, Red Strike. I believe Zarathai is grabbing some drinks at the moment, so his introduction will be delayed.
Should be an exciting match here. These guys kind of match up well enough. You guys that are a little bit more experienced on watching some of these guys play, can you talk to me at least a little bit? I wasn't part of the... I really haven't seen a lot of the games, to be honest with you guys, most of them ours. But I know a lot of these players, and they do have a very interesting bot lane matchup, given that I see Nukes is currently in the bot lane.
Yeah, I believe Nukes is normally an ADC player. That being said, for the entirety of these tournaments, he's been in the jungle role. So this is something that hasn't been tested before, I believe. Or at least we haven't seen before.
I mean, I being a very old guard BTL player, I've seen Nukes in the bot lane in action. He's a very formidable opponent, to say the least, so I'm excited to see it. And knowing that Nukes is in the bot lane, I think Wingmen has a much stronger outlook on this game, just because of his expertise down there.
Yeah, it's something I've harped on several times. If you guys are fans of the Trash Talk channel, where FSC lives, you know that I am a big critical of Nukes being in the jungle, because I've seen him in NACL qualifiers and stuff as a support, actually, and then he's played in a couple other leagues as like higher end leagues as an AD carry as well. So when I saw him jungle, I was like, that's not his role. That's a bad idea, and that's why they're down here in the first round of Gauntlet, right? They've been struggling, even though he's the one carrying their most points. They've been struggling to make his advantages, because he has gotten advantages, right? But he doesn't know how to translate them. Very good player, just when you're not experienced in the role, it's very hard for you to be able to shift that lead to other areas, right? If you don't know what you're doing. And so I am very interested to see how it goes down there.
Well, before this draft gets off, what do you guys think in terms of predictions? How do you guys think this series is going to go?
You know, the fact that Nukes is on ADC definitely throws stuff out, because I don't think anybody was fully expecting that, but it definitely increases their odds, that's for sure.
Yeah,
I feel like it's going to be a 2-1.
2-1
for
Wingmen?
sure. Not too sure for who, but we'll see. I'm going with the 2-1.
I think with Nukes being in the bot lane, I think that Wingman definitely has a very strong ability to go 2-1 in the series. So I'm going to give it to Wingman here and say that they're going to go 2-1 with Nukes, as long as he's able to perform and isn't too rusty since he's been playing jungle.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna go for a very similar prediction. However, I think it's gonna be a 2-0 either way, because even though we are saying like Nukes is like the better player, put some respect on Alive's name too, right? Alive and Dr. Death have been doing well, and it because they're putting Nukes down there, it's D1 versus Master, right? So it's all who gets the upper hand, and I think players being a tiltable lane, if you can beat that lane, you could more than likely be able to win the game there. And so I'm going to go 2-0 prediction, but I'm going to go in the favor of Alive and Dr. Dad, actually. I'm going to go with Imagine Cloud. But it could go either way. Like, if Wingmen win game 1, I'd go 2-0 Wingmen.
Yeah.
Well.
Oh, no, I don't count? Oh, man. Not the first time. No, I think I'm with Luis on this one. I think it's going to be pretty close. I think it's probably going to be Imagining Cloud winning this one. I think, Dr. Dad in the last series we saw played really well compared to what I've seen from him in the past. And I think that Alive is just an incredibly stable player. I haven't seen Nukes play AD, obviously. But I would imagine that Imagine Cloud has the better overall team at this point.
Pretty standard drafting for the most part.
Pretty expected, yeah. Although I know that Dr. Dad is more of a tank support player, if I remember correctly. Yeah. So we'll have to see how he does on the Milio.
I think the Milio into the Maokai trade is very, very favorable for the Milio side.
Yeah, especially with the ult cleanse on Milio, you can even pop it early and just make sure that your team can't be CC'd for too long if you can't get into the best position. So Milio is 100% like the golden child of the League of Legends support role, in my opinion, right now. But we do have a Kog'Maw Maokai answering on the other side, so I'm curious if we're going to see a Lulu Kog'Maw synergy bot lane and see if they can possibly out DPS the Milio's bonus range with whoever they decide to pair with it.
Yeah, this is something that I've been really, what would it say, critical of when it comes to teams, is when your first rotation is what it is, if you don't round it out well, that's where teams have been struggling, especially playing against us, because when we first pick something, it's very obvious what we're going to go into. And I'd like the answer into the Maokai Kog'Maw, taking one of the best picks that it's going to go with the Lulu, which usually the typical answer versus Milio. You see the Aphelios locked on the other side. It's probably a case of this is my best pick more than the pick, because I think Aphelios does actually struggle into the Kog'Maw, does have the Milio to help him out a little bit. And more than likely what you're going to see, if it's a normal draft, it's like a Vi. That is not a Vi.
That is most definitely not a Vi.
That is a very interesting pick. I think Vi definitely should have been the one, because Kog'Maw just struggles so hard into people who can dive him straight on. And also Vi just being unstoppable, and that ult guarantees that she gets there. But we're seeing the Udyr, which is a very interesting pick, and I don't know how Udyr's ever going to reach this backline, to be honest.
Maokai Q.
But going back, going back to the Aphelios pick, actually, Aphelios in general struggles against Kog'Maw, but the W range increase that Milio gives actually skews matchups very, it makes losing matchups very winnable. So I think if they play it right, it can be very dangerous for this Kog'Maw, just because even though Kog'Maw can extend his range as well, I think Aphelios' early game damage is a lot more competitive compared to Kog'Maw, because you need that rage blade, right? Just because all your damage is stacked onto that W, or you just wait out his W and then you use your W and trade in.
Imagine Cloud's next couple picks have to have engage, right?
Yeah, I would like to see possibly a Mordekaiser take out some of this front line, get Kog'Maw away from his safety, because if you can take out the Maokai, which is all they have right now, Udyr can definitely get to that Kog'Maw. He's a fast champion.
I was gonna say silence ban because it means Malphite's coming. The Rock's being locked in.
Oh, Gnar.
Oh yeah, the Rock's being locked in. It's almost an insta-lock Malphite here right now.
That looks like a Malphite to me. It's spelling a little different though.
Does anyone else other than my team go with the Galio mid? Because if you go Malphite Galio, that is a very powerful combo. It guarantees an easy dive onto that Kog'Maw with double knockups.
The problem with that is if the Kog'Maw has flash, both your soul laner's ultimates are gone, and he will be able to take over that fight anyways. That I don't necessarily like that kind of combo on it. They do have plenty of AP damage right now. Could be a Jace for poke, if they play it. Could be Ahri, Nico is available. Victor.
You know, with Victor. I mean, Victor does have some good zone control with his W and his E, but I don't think Kog'Maw cares too much about that, because I feel like it is on Imagine Cloud to pull the trigger here, and you can't really get access to that zone control if you're the ones going forward and not playing back into their engage.
With Victor being locked in, more than likely you could see the Nico, you could see there. Actually, it's interesting that Nico made it all the way through, then it's not picked. Okay. It hasn't been nerfed, right? It's not 13-13.
No, it has not been nerfed.
Okay. I'm just making sure I'm not insane.
We do have the Syndra pick into the Victor, though. I think there's a lot of easy presence, and she has good gank potential with the Maokai. I think they can abuse this low mobility mid laner with just the layered CC. So it can be very dangerous for this Victor.
Thoughts on who wins draft here?
Until the Udyr was locked in.
That's true. Udyr has a very hard time this game.
I think Wingman has won draft just because the Udyr pick to me seems a little troll. And Victor is a safe laner and he can do a lot once he gets to his 3-item power spike, but I think Syndra Maokai can abuse him very easily. And I think all Kog'Maw has to do is farm and wait until he hits 3 items and then not care about anything and just make sure he flashes the Malphite ult.
Yeah, and mindful here, we're not saying Udyr himself is a bad champion. We're saying Udyr into those specific champions that can severely outrage him and outspace him make it very, very difficult for the Udyr to play. Udyr itself as a carry jungler, a power farming jungler, is an okay champion, but definitely going to be tough for him to get on anyone on the opposite side of him, right? Does a good matchup into the Maokai, which I'm sure that's probably why they picked it. But as you get into the mid game, as you get into contesting objectives, it's going to be very hard for you to be able to walk into Lulu slows, Kog'Maw slow, Maokai saplings, right? It's be very, very difficult for him to enter. And we knew that the Lulu was coming. Hence why I think like the Udyr was the incorrect choice. Because it was almost 3 champions face up when Udyr was picked.
Yeah.
Mid lane matchup should be pretty even. As I've known, it's a very skilled matchup. Both champions can get pushed from time to time. Syndra will get the push early on. Once Victor gets his upgrade, it's mostly still a trade, right? Syndra can threaten engage, so Victor can't just blow his load on the wave. It's 50-50 there. So matchup will be who can move for their team.
Yeah. I definitely think on the side of Wingman, it is very protect the Kog'Maw, keep him alive. You have the Gnar ult, the Maokai ult, the Syndra EQ. If they can't punish this Kog'Maw, I think Kog'Maw can actually take control of this game very easily. Especially because he can run Ghost this game. There's no reason to not take Ghost. Just because if you're looking at the matchup, they don't have any like point and click CC other than Malphite ult, but nothing can stop a knockup.
They do have Gravitum.
Yeah, I guess they do. But if Aphelios is holding Gravitum in those late game fights, it's not going to be a high DPS build coming out of him, and he is the only source of AD damage. Just looking at the Udyr, because I don't really see much Udyrs do the Triforce or Divine or whatever they're going. It's almost always the Abyssal Mass, or not Abyssal Mass. What's the item called? A Demonic Embrace, I believe. So if Aphelios is holding Gravitum, he is not going to be pumping out the DPS that he needs to be doing for his team.
Well, that is quite a lull in the discussion, but I think that since we have this little break, since we're going to be waiting out the spectator delay, I just want to take a quick stop. Do you guys have any final thoughts? Which team do you think is going to win this draft, and how do you think they're going to win this game?
I think you go first.
Okay. I think Wingman definitely has the advantage here. Their comp is a lot more easy to pull off. It's literally just play for the Kog'Maw, keep the Udyr and Malphite away as best you can, and Kog'Maw's just going to simply out DPS everything that Imagine Cloud can do once he hits like 3 items. I think for Imagine Cloud, the way for them to win is they got to look for these flanks, and they got to try to take out Kog'Maw early. Because other than that, you got Kog'Maw Syndra damage, but once the Kog'Maw falls, it's going to be a very easy fight for them, just because of the amount of burst that they can have with Aphelios and Victor.
Makes sense. No disagreements for me. Wingman probably wins, just because their stuff is easier to execute, but if Victor gets really fed, or Malphite gets a good ult, or Udyr gets a flank, then it doesn't really matter if the Kog'Maw dies.
I'm still very hesitant to say one side has the advantage over the other, because I can see if like Malphite doesn't get behind against the Gnar, he will be able to put some pressure on the Kog'Maw, and then their bot lanes are very skilled matchup. I am gonna lean to ease of execution being on the side of Wingmen when it comes to the mid game. That I'm gonna give it to them because most of these games are being won in the mid game. Usually, not a lot happens in the early game.
Alrighty, well, we will be back after the spectator delay. Don't go anywhere.
back end, by the way.
Well, ignoring Luis murmuring, welcome onto the Rift for game number 1 of Imagine Cloud versus Wingmen. I am Zarathai. Joining me, obviously, is Frostbite, Luis, and Red Strike. Fellas, what are we seeing here?
I'm seeing a flashless Udyr, or sorry, a flash Udyr, which I think is very strange. Most of the time you see Ghost, and I don't think Flash is going to help him that much this game. But I like to see the Ghost coming out of both AD carries. There's not a lot of point and click CC, so they should have the extra mobility helps a lot.
Both going Cull as well.
And then if we're trying to harp on the Udyr's choices as well, he bought the green smite, which necessarily most of the time when I've seen the Udyr, it's either blue smite for at the attack damage build or it's the red smite for the AP build, right? So he's going tank to just CC, I believe, this game.
Yeah, I think Udyr definitely needs to stick with the tank build just because I think green smite's not actually bad here because there's just so much layered CC that they can have, so he needs every ounce of tenacity he can get.
I see on his OPGG, he just played an Udyr game 40 minutes ago. Jack shows on fire, so it's probably going to be that build.
Yeah. I don't like it. If you're gonna, usually if you pick the Udyr, you pick it to be able to power farm to get your lead, which means your items should be one of the 2 carry builds for initially. Then you can go into Bruiser. Especially if he has the Malphite to engage for him, but we'll see how it goes here.
Both junglers seem to be starting on the top side, which makes sense. Bot meta, all that stuff.
Yeah, they definitely need to be playing for bot side here just because of what those 2 champions can do if they get a lead. I think Wingmen's ganks are a lot more guaranteed though, especially once Maokai hits that level 6.
Fair. Although with the melee ulti, that makes it pretty difficult. There's no other CC.
A big critical detail I'm noticing here coming from the mid lane, and this is something that could have happened to really mess up the bot lane. You see how Victor got wave push 2? He pushed wave 2 and then went and warded topside there. That could have been a chance for them to ward their blue buff area and then went in for an invade with the Udyr that's going to be way faster pace. You see Udyr's already finished his 4th camp and could have went into the red buff. And you see Maokai, because Victor panned out of vision, Maokai warded his own blue buff being afraid. Bot lane has a push, mid lane has a push. They could have very, very well went into that jungle and instead chose to play neutral here. Now Udyr is going to get his full clear like normal, but he's not going to be able to pressure the Maokai. Maokai's going to get his full clear too. So
They did spot the Maokai though on that blue trinket, if you saw live, and Dr. Dad went up there and spotted him, so they know to play safe. They know that Maokai's down here.
He shouldn't have been allowed to play for his blue buff here. He's getting his free full clear. Just a little tidbit of aggression that could have very well happened because they had everything set up for it. Bot lane was pushing, mid lane was pushing, and Udyr was a full camp ahead of him. About to be 2 camps ahead of him. This is in part the trade secret that we have with FFZ. If you want to beat us, you deny me the push because I will always move for my jungler. My life for ire.
Udyr does get the double scuttle though, so he's definitely be up on tempo because of that faster clear like you were saying, so we might be able to see some more early game pressure out of the Udyr. He doesn't have the ghost, but he does have the flash stun.
Gonna go into, should be invading. I don't think they can kill this. Oh. Invade Krugs? No? Okay.
Oh, I just realized that Gnar went cold too, so he's definitely just looking to farm up and eventually outscale this Malphite.
Makes sense. Not like he's going to be killing him in lane.
It's actually building up a CS lead too as this wave is about to bounce. He's about to be like 5 CS up. Unless he misses one. Missed one.
FFC bot lane also got a sizable CS lead. Even with the wave crashing in, they're probably at least a full wave up.
Alive.
Man.
No. Oh, that's tragic to see.
I was about to ask, it's you guys are bot lanes, right? I know Frostbite and Zarathai are.
Yes, I am.
Yeah,
Support.
yeah. What do you guys think of this bot lane matchup so far? Should Kog'Maw have the CS lead that he does right now?
Probably. I feel like, I don't know. Cog Lulu has always been decently impressive.
They're both very strong lanes. If Alive is using his kit to like maximum efficiency, he can actually zone the Kog'Maw with the Calibrum, but it doesn't look like he's able to do that. I think they actually lost a lot of possible tempo and crashing the wave because they went for that vision on the Maokai, which is good. I think knowing where the jungler is very valuable, but they definitely lost a little bit of lane tempo by doing that.
Yeah, it very felt. Oh, what's going on here? Nothing?
A roam from the support. Not gonna leak too much though. Top lane wet noodle fight.
Gold lead right now firmly in the hands of Red side here as we look into the lanes and you see the Kog'Maw with the 10 CS lead, top lane 15 CS lead, mid lane pretty even. So interesting to see this unfolding. Now it's bouncing, waves are bouncing back, it's going back even. Udyr is actually
looking for an early dragon. No, they call it off.
Maybe it's because you have us in call, but FFC is in the call with you. Imagine Cloud.
Wingmen. That's what I meant.
I feel like for Wingmen wanting to do that dragon, they needed the Kog'Maw there.
That's true.
Oh, fight breaking out here.
Fight breaking out. Alive going to be chasing after them with the ghost. Face of Wolf is going to go down. Crazy Juggernaut looking for more. Colby goes down as well. Sorry, I was so flabbergasted by what I was hearing that I just totally spaced out on what I was actually seeing.
Yeah, I don't like that fight opportunity that Wingman took there. I think at that point, they already lost the tempo on the Drake. They just need to give it there. I'm not sure why they took that fight. Definitely swings the 2K Gold League in favor of Imagine Cloud.
Syndra was also completely isolated there, so Udyr just ran at her.
Did not need to flash for it. Actually ended up flashing for the Maokai, I believe. So the flash ended up being worth it? Question mark?
Yeah, Udyr, in the late game fights, Udyr's going to have a harder time, but at this stage of the game, he's going to have a much easier time running down people.
Yeah, as Ools, I don't think that you should be taking that Drake fight because you could just leave it for neutral. I'm looking at Twitch chat as I answer questions. I think they were pretty neutral there. Once they give up the tempo, you give up that Drake and you continue scaling, which we've already talked about the fact that they do outscale and they were all even. I don't think that Drake necessarily breaks the game for them. I don't believe any action is going to happen.
Very evenly distributed. 4 different people each getting a kill.
Yeah. Wait, actually, did Gnar and Malphite didn't TP down there, right? It was just Malphite and Gnar fought up top?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, it was a 1v1? Yeah. Because I see everyone has assists except the Malphite, so it was a 1v1 in the top lane.
Yeah. Must have gotten a solo kill during that time period.
Yeah, quick question for you guys, because you're all doing the analysis here. How the hell does Malphite solo kill Gnar?
Q poke.
Yeah, early game Malphite is a little rough for Gnar just because of the poke. But once Gnar hits like Black Cleaver, Triforce, which I'm assuming he's going, or Divine, he should start racking up kills on that Malphite.
Okay, yeah. I just went back to watch it. Yeah, it was pretty much just Q poke. Malphite went for a flash R. Gnar flashed away, but then the Q just finished it up.
Yep, it's usually how it ends up happening. You stay a little bit too long, you forget Malphite has ultimate now, and that's actually a very bursty ultimate. Let's see if adding the Q plus E. Look real quick. Do my little maths. 250.
I think it's around 450 damage for the full combo.
It's more. It's around 600. 600 plus autos. So if you weave in autos too. It's actually quite a bursty.
Would you see Maokai here, level 7, so he's looking for this lane gank right here with his ultimate. If Imagine Clouds is not expecting it, this could be very devastating for their bot lane.
Udyr is down here. I think they are sensing it out. You see the pings happening right here. They're not standing on top of the wave the way the Lulu and Kog'Maw are postured. Yep, they waited it out. Udyr's coming to help them push this wave, and they're just gonna be able to retreat. They might actually get the Drake again, cycle the Drake, or he might let them back. They have the Herald at the moment.
Drake in 40 seconds or so.
Yeah, I think he's gonna shadow them for them backing too, and then look to fight the Drake. Oh no! Looks like they might go for the full tower here with the Herald pop.
Oh, Syndra.
Yeah, flashing
Ooh,
forward,
Syndra
picks up the
solo
kill.
Solo kill. Yeah,
I don't.
Ulti is brutal.
Oh, this could.
Oh no, this is a fight in the bot lane. Colby going in with the Twisted Advance, gets the Ramble Smash, and instead goes down. Red White, time to fight alive, doing a lot of damage, gets a whole lot of the Chakrams ready to run at them, but Pixel Wolf and Nukes not going to re-engage on that one.
Syndra
Tano from Nano behind. Dr. Dad gonna heal and flash. Will be going down to the Nukes, rather. Has the extended range.
They won't be able to get Drake off the back end of it yet, though, because of everything they've just expended for it. The Udyr will be back on the map to be able to contest it. That I don't think it's worth them going for it right away. It looks like Maokai is running straight down there, though, so it's going to be a Kog'Maw push into getting the objective, and everyone's coming down here. It could be another fight.
I feel like what Kog'Maw should have done after shoving that wave is go straight to that dragon and start it and just have Maokai path there, because you know that their bot lane is on reset, so you guys could burst that down with the Kog'Maw W damage, but
They called it off.
yeah, it looks like they decided not to do that, and now Udyr's just clearing vision.
Looks like he's just gonna go for it. And they probably get it.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, Wingmen bot lane is backed.
If we take a look at the items, though, Kog'Maw does have that Rage Blade, so step 1 of having that massive DPS outcome, he just needs 1 or 2 more items, and then he's going to be a force to be reckoned with in these team fights.
And just like we were predicting, right, with him having a 20 CS lead and being 1-0 versus the Philios 2-0, these two players are going to be the main characters of this game. We're going down.
Gnar with the Hole Breaker first item. I don't know how I feel about that one. I feel like you get a lot more value going Black Cleaver just to shred that armor and push that lead that you should be getting once you hit that second item power spike from Gnar. But we will see the split push threat from Gnar and see how it pans out for this team.
Yeah, the next fight we want to look out for here is the Herald about to be spawning in a minute 30. With the bot lane tower being gone, you would like to see Aphelios be able to shove this wave and then move up there and have the Malphite catch the bot lane, especially with plates being gone. We'll have to see what they do here. Victor has TP, so he could be the one moving bot lane actually here. Yep, and so you see Aphelios rotating up. Victor should be moving to bot lane. Yep, everyone's kind of posturing to go for the contest. I think all ultimates should be up. Flashes down for Kog'Maw and Syndra's. Syndra's could be up by the time the Drake starts. Everyone else is on the side of Imagine Cloud is up, barring the Melio.
Don Fury is answering the Victor without teleport, so if the fight does break open for this Rift Herald, they do have the TP advantage coming out of Imagine Cloud's side right now. be a little dangerous trying to contest this, but we'll see what they decide to do.
Victor might be moving up now with the lane breaking even. Nope. Looks like just posturing. Gonna probably go back bot lane, have Aphelios poke that tower. Udyr's taking the Herald already. I don't think it's gonna be a contest. I think they just...
Looks like they're giving it, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, we've seen Wingmen concede 3 of the last big objectives. I mean, where do we think that this team is going to be able to find their opportunity to take their stand in this game?
I think they should have
keep looking for Don Paris on the split push with the Hullbreaker.
I think right now, honestly, I thought that they could have contested that Rift Herald with Kog'Maw having that Rage Blade, but we do have a quick fight happening in bot lane.
Yeah,
Not
quick
with the
fight.
flash ulti.
I think he's
Flash
gonna...
Gnar and the Unleashed Power. Just Relish teleports in, has the ultimate available. Don Paris, though, will just be dying without the ultimate.
Dead. Yeah, 1 for 1, although the TP is used from the Malphite.
I don't think that's bad. I mean, Syndra picked up that kill there, and honestly, with the whole breaker Gnar
gets a
build,
lot top here as well.
yeah, they don't really care too much about that trade. It definitely is in favor of Wingmen there, because Udyr is the one who got the kill, and that doesn't really matter.
Alive, having a flash, burns the ghost as well. Colby flashing, Twisted Advance is getting in there. Alive, going to be taken incredibly low already. Going to try and run through the Syndra though. Crazy Juggernaut is here now. Nano going to be taken incredibly low. Nano going to burn down the Infernum, takes them out.
I think Syndra DC'd there. She was just trying to
looks like a DC.
Yep.
Yeah. His mouse
side.
died. That is very unfortunate.
They should be popping the Herald here. No, okay, they're gonna wait on it. More than likely gonna use it to secure the next Drake as well here. Use it like top lane or bot or mid lane. Victor has teleport here, so I would like to see him go top lane instead of the Malphite.
Experiencing the good old Riot Spectator client special.
I was gonna say, did anyone else freeze?
Yeah.
Yep, Herald pop top lane. However, Malphite's the one up there with the wave.
Yeah, Malphite doesn't have TP here. I think Wingman can look to fight, even though Aphelios does have the item advantage over this Kog'Maw. I still think Kog'Maw's damage is a force to be reckoned with. And Wingman is posturing to take control of this dragon.
Malphite didn't actually push the top wave, by the way. He just went up there.
B going to be able to Bramble Smash him out. Nano picking up the shutdown alive. Going to burn them all up. Has the red gun. Going to be trying to do just enough damage. Not free. Takes him out, though. Just Relish ulting in. Picks up the Kog'Maw. Pixel Wolf trying to run away. But Brewer is going to be able to finish that Lulu off. What a explosive fight from Crazy Juggernaut flashing over and alive. Yeah, with the insane Infernum damage there.
Yeah, I think that was a major misplay by the Udyr. I don't think he needed to flash forward in, but he did have the follow-up by Aphelios, and Aphelios just hit every single person with that Infernum ult. And that was just disgusting to see. That is definitely what you want to see out of your 200 years of Riot Games design.
Yeah, a very, very good ultimate coming in from the Aphelios and Alive popping off this game. Being able to out DPS a Kog'Maw as his team was able to back him up. Obviously, Udyr ended up going down way earlier than everyone else expected, but the second the Malphite came in, the second the Aphelios ultimate popped through, they were able to clean up the fight and take it there.
I'm seeing a Void Staff come out of the Syndra, and I feel like that is not the most ideal. I think Shadow Flame is a lot more what you want, especially with Alive being your main target with your ultimate, and he has no MR. I think you get a lot more out of that magic pin, but we'll see how they play out these fights.
Yeah, and she's not a tank killer to begin with either, so the Void Staff being picked up when the other side doesn't have a lot of face-up MR. Yeah, not the most optimal play. Looks like they could be poised to pull the Baron here. Everyone's set up for it.
Thoughts on the Milia going art sensor burst item?
An interesting choice.
I know pre-nerf it was probably a lot more viable. I'm not sure I like it too much, but you know,
I think with his ability to heal everyone and just giving a lot of attack speed to his team, I think it's fine, especially with Alive having all these kills stacked on him.
That's fine.
Having the move speed from Shirelia's is definitely a big plus, but if you're looking to just make sure that Alive gets as much DPS out as possible, I think it's fine.
Fair enough.
Interesting that they're not pulling the trigger on this Baron pull, because the other side is not able to check it really that well. All lanes are pushed, they can't really enter. Okay, good.
Looks like they are, in fact, not going for it. Yeah, this is definitely Imagine Cloud's game to lose now. 6k gold lead, 3 dragons, free Baron.
Looks like my prediction right now is coming alive. So now that we've had about a game or so to digest it, what do we think of the Nukes and Colby switch so far?
I think they're both playing fine. I just feel like the shot calling early game, there was some errors there, and it kind of gave Imagine Cloud the lead that they needed to keep propelling this game forward with their comp.
Yeah. If we're saying this game is pretty much done and dusted, what do we think they need to change up for the second game?
I think that they just need to recognize when they are weaker and not take these like early game fights when you don't need to, especially with scaling that you have available to your team.
Both side laners pushing right now. Yeah, I do agree with here. Why are we not sitting mid? Both my solid laners are perfectly set up for the 1-3-1, and my mid wave is slow to push. What are we doing? We're not using our Baron, I guess. We're vibing. Is what we're doing. Okay, this
they got tier 2 top. They got tier 2 top. They got something. Perhaps not ideal gameplay.
That's my Malphite solo pushing. Yeah. Okay, this wave will for sure group and push, right? Okay. We gave up half the way for 0. Still invading and moving down bot lane.
I think what Imagine Cloud's trying to do is just deny as much gold to this Maokai as possible with this Baron, which it's not the most ideal call, but if that's their only front line, it can work. So they are feeding gold into the Kog'Maw, which can be a little scary.
Yeah.
Colby getting chunked out a little bit here. Colby actually just gonna freaking die. That's the flash for Scatter the Weak from Nana, but the Alive going to flash out in response. Nana taking a lot of damage. As the Caliburn Gale Force is in, not going to be able to quite finish it alive, taking a whole lot of damage from the Kog'Maw. Nukes not quite able to finish him off. The Cozy Campfire is keeping alive in the game. Pixel Wolf going to be going down as well. Gruer picking up the triple kill, and Just Relish walks over to say, I'm part of this team too, guys.
And the fact that Aphelios lived there is very unfortunate for Wingmen.
Melio, baby, Melio.
That's true.
That will be the gamer. Hopefully it should be.
They come up. Well, whether or not the gold difference is too much to account for, yeah.
Okay,
we'll find out.
On the plus side, they don't need to split push anymore because both inhibs are gone, so they can all go bot lane here.
The dragon is up.
Yep.
And this is Soul Point. Or Soul, I guess.
This is the correct call to be able to fall back.
They should be able to rush it.
Yeah.
I mean, all Imagine Cloud has to do at this point is get this dragon, push bot, and then look for the triple inhib in. I don't think there's much that Wingman can do to stop the Fed Victor and Aphelios at this point. The Kog'Maw just hasn't hit the items.
Everyone needs to recall, team. We have a lot of gold in our pockets. Okay. They're Scorching Earth. That's fine too.
What's the button to see the gold?
X.
If you're a tab, then X. If you guys are wingmen in this situation, how do you think how can they come back?
Plan for game 2.
Yeah.
At this point, plan for game 2. Yeah, I would agree.
That's fair. Yeah, 10k gold diff. It is rough.
It's rough. I think that in order to be able to win, you have to find some crazy trigger pull engage that is able to kill Alive and Greer at the same time. And I just don't see Imagine Cloud allowing that to happen. I mean, Dr. Dad has the Breath of Life to just free up Alive or Greer if they get caught up by, you know, some Maokai ultimate or something. And Crazy Juggernaut, like, he's so unstoppably tanky at this point, it seems undoable.
On this next wave, you would like to see, as both top and mid wave are going in, that the Malphite pull the trigger and them just burst out the tower.
Are in trouble.
Kog'Maw's top lane. Okay, wave is pulling in now. They need to get this tower off this wave correctly. Yep. Should be pretty much game over here.
That is a triple inhibitor looking. Oh,
that is going to be the Maokai ult coming in. Colby going for the Twisted Advanced Bramble Smash on the Crazed Juggernaut, but Don Free taking a lot of damage. Dr. Dad going to be flung back into the fight alive. Gale forcing forward. Nuke's taking a whole lot of damage. That's a lot of Chakram stacked up. Nana going to be taking the next fall on this one. Alive, doing so much damage in the fight, and that is going to be game number 1, going the way of Imagine Cloud.
I mean, Imagine Cloud did everything right there. I think Wingmen definitely threw some bad calls early game, and I think Imagine Cloud just was on top of it to abuse those calls.
Yeah, ultimately, I think it was that first Drake fight where they gave the lead, and then Imagine Cloud just kept on it the entire time. The Malphite being able to get a couple good engages, the Udyr with Flash Bear Slap, or Flash Boar Slap, whatever it is now, being able to take the win there.
Yep, a pretty decisive victory. It didn't feel like there was much that Wingmen could do after, you know, like a 3k gold lead.
Yeah. So I believe we will be going to break, right, Zarathai, while they get everything sorted for the next game?
Yep, we'll be going to a quick break while we figure out what's happening for the next game. Don't go anywhere.
What did you do?
She took Tibbers.
What is wrong with you?
It was an accident.
Daisy started it.
Oh, did she now? Well, I'm sure she didn't mean to. You'll be playing together before you know it, okay? I promise, Firefly. You can't blame Annie. She's still our daughter.
No. Your daughter's a monster.
How could you say that?
You know it's true. everything.
Welcome back, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, to game number 2's draft. This is, of course, Imagine Cloud versus Wingmen. Wingmen on the blue side, Imagine Cloud on the red side. I am Zarathai. Joining me are Frostbite and Red Strike Luis, currently out walking the dog. So I'm taking over. Now, so far we do have the Gwen ban and a Zaya ban coming out. What do we think of Wingmen's draft, and do we expect to see any adaptations from last game?
Well, we already seen one right now. They banned the Udyr, which honestly, I don't even know if that was the problem pick there, but the Udyr ban did just go through for Wingmen, so I guess they thought it was an issue for their jungler and Colby.
I believe that their jungler plays a lot of Ivern as well, so we'll see if they ban that as well, or if they swap out the bans.
We do have a Milio ban denying the Wingman the first pick Milio, and then the Ivern ban, as you predicted, just went out. So we're not going to see an Ivern in BTL this match.
No Ivern to be seen. A little strange, perhaps, that Wingmen isn't able or willing to first pick the Ivern. Welcome back, Super Luigi.
They did go with a more impactful early game jungle, so the Jarvan first pick, I like to see it actually. There's a lot that champion can do at all points in the game. And it kind of denies the ability to play those super safe, like no mobility ADCs. So with Zaya being banned, it might be a little harder for Alive to get his job done.
Yeah, I said it. But
yeah.
Dr. Dad's Rel is up and available, and looks like it's going to be pretty much locked in instantly. Which does change up how the draft should go, right? Rel is their first pick, so they're going to need to pick things that are going to be pretty brawly. So not going to be a late game scaling comp from both teams, given Jarvan's locked in on the opposite side.
Yeah. Yep. The Zac.
With the Rel Zac, there's a lot of engage coming out from Imagine Cloud side. They're looking to take control and look at Wingmen's early game weakness from last game and try to abuse that even more than they did last.
They are wanting to see the other AD carry before being able to pick their AD, which is fine with the Zac being locked in. Janna with the Jarvan. God.
Feels a little anti-synergy, but Janna is very good into Rel Zac. Just Tornado and the ultimate can deny a lot of engage there.
Yeah. Which means they could still go for a hyper carry out of Wingmen here. So could potentially see Aphelios locked in on their side. I think that could be good for them. Because of their
Jhin? Okay, yeah. I was about to say Jhin does not seem
Draven.
I was banned last game from Imagine Cloud, so I guess I haven't looked at it, but I would assume that Nukes plays a lot of Draven.
Draven can deny a lot of what Zac and Ro want to do with his stand aside, so it is a very good AD carry pick into what you see now. But if I imagine Cloud plays something, they went with Lucian. I was gonna say Varus. Varus is a pretty good pick into Draven, but Lucian can look to use his double shot passive to outtrade the Draven early game.
I would have thought it would have been a Varus or a Misfortune angle there instead of a Lucian, because Lucian into the other team cannot really dash in, so he loses a lot of his trade patterns by being unable to go. So you'd want to pick something that can kind of do damage from the back line.
With the new late Lucian changes that did come out, though, he's not hard locked into having to force a Nami support with him. He does get his passive off of the Rel CC, so they can be looking to abuse his new passive changes.
Yeah, it's more so to do with the face up on the opposite side. Like, you cannot dash into Draven's face, and if you dash, Jarvan's there, Janna's there. Like, it's not his team. His team, like Lucian himself with his characters on his team is good. Just looking at the opposite side, I don't think you'd want that. You'd want a Misfortune ult coming through without in safety. You'd want the Varus ult potentially coming in.
Renekton.
It's not.
I mean, I would honestly like to see an Ornn. I know Renekton can beat Ornn, but I think Ornn's ability to do a lot of what this team wants, and he's just a very safe top lane pick. But they're going to go with what looks like they're going to be the Darius Hover. I don't know how I feel about Darius, but I'm not a top laner, so I don't know how the matchups go.
A lot of the problem with Darius is that you have to take Flash Ghost on Darius, otherwise you're not a champion.
Yeah.
So
I do
really
like the Talia pick. I do like the Talia pick there. If they lock this in, that is literally a counter to every single one of Imagine Cloud's champions.
That's true. I believe does Wingman's mid laner play a lot of Talia? I'm not sure.
Let me look. Nanovos does not play. Yeah, does. One of his accounts.
Okay, I was about to say. I feel like one of these mid laners played a lot of Talia. I just don't remember.
One of its accounts does have a 62% win rate, 21 games, but it is in gold. But it's okay.
LeBlanc as a counter. How is that matchup? I'm not too sure.
I think it's a skill matchup. I think LeBlanc has the upper hand because her dash is fast enough to get past Talia's delayed E. But if Talia can predict the engages from by LeBlanc, this can be pretty nasty for Wingmen. A lot of their entire team is dashes. If you look at it, you got Rel, Zac, Lucian, Renekton, and LeBlanc. Every one of their main kit damage sources is through a dash.
Well, if it's LeBlanc with the static shiv, it could be a little different. I know that generally Talia is really good into LeBlanc because it denies most of your damage if you can't dash in front of her face. But LeBlanc's space style, when she does the static shiv build, is to dash to the side to be able to get your auto off, your root off, and so it is a little bit different. That Talia kind of has to toss her skills in a different way. That actually could be a Talia falling back into the LeBlanc, but she will get pushed in the early game, which is very important. LeBlanc in the early game, until she gets that shift, doesn't have a lot of wave control, can struggle, does have a little bit of lethal, but not the best.
Thoughts on who wins this draft?
Despite the Talia counter, I think Imagine Cloud's comp is just a lot more streamlined with what you see nowadays. So I think Imagine Cloud has the advantage here. If Wingman can time their abilities and not be too hasty on the trigger that they're pulling, they can definitely stop a lot of what Imagine Cloud's trying to do. But I feel like this game's going to come down to the early game and who can play it better, especially seeing Lucian and Draven on the bot lane sides.
What I think for sure is this game will be bloody, right?
That is pretty likely, yeah.
Both these comps want to brawl. They want to be able to get some advantages. So you're going to see this game be a little bit more piss heavy compared to the first game, and it'll be dependent on not necessarily who gets the early lead, but who can continue to rack up the objective timers, the objective points, and everything as they get going to build that lead up. Rel has plenty of engage, Jarvan has plenty of engage, while they have Janna to be able to counter some of it, can't really counter everything. Me, as the meta conformist, I see two champions that are really meta at the moment, which is Rel and LeBlanc, so I'm going to favor Imagine Cloud for being able to take the game. I think Draven is niche in the meta, but I think given the opposite side, and given the fact that he did not really get a chance to play that game last time in the Kog'Maw, I think they're going to very much know to play to deny him. And so I'm going to be going for Wingmen going down and Imagine Cloud picking up a 2-0. Zarathai, what are your thoughts?
I feel more or less the same. I think that while there is potential for Nukes to, if he gets the ball rolling, just really pop off on the Draven pick, I think it's much more likely for Imagine Cloud to play a relatively stable game. I think that even with the Lucian, in theory, shouldn't be able to just dash in all the time. I think it's still going to be, in general, much more reliable than hoping your Draven gets turbo fed and playing only to the Draven. But I think that we have a spectator delay to wait out, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back in just a few minutes. number 2. Ladies, gentlemen, and everything in between, I am Zarathai. Joining me are Luis, Frostbite, and Red Strike. Fellas, we're coming off the back of a very strong Game 1 for Imagine Cloud. So what do you think we're going to see going differently in this Game 2, and what are any interesting things you see so far?
Well, I already expect this game to be a lot more early game focused out of both teams. That's just going to be fight. I feel like trying to get this Draven and this Lucian ahead, and we don't see any TPs coming from Wingmen's side, so they're going to have to be playing macro to the utmost peak.
Yeah, given that this game is going to be super bloody from everyone, I would have liked to have seen the Draven gone the Longsword 3, right? Instead of the Dorans, who's normally like a lane farming thing, but if you're gonna farm, Paul is always better at the moment, right? So it's a little bit odd of a choice there. Everyone else, I think, for the most part, has pretty standard stuff. You see the LeBlanc going with the Longsword because she's going to be going the Shift build. We talked a little bit about it on break. This league does have a full AD LeBlanc player, but the most meta build at the moment is Shiv into AP with the Dark Harvester into most of the things. So more than likely what the build's going to be there.
I definitely feel like we need to see the LeBlanc going AP this game. Otherwise, Wingman just has no AP damage on their team other than Zac, and that I don't think that is enough.
Yeah, looking at the match history of Greer, I'm seeing an AP Shiv LeBlanc game. So it's probably going to be that. Shiv, Night Harvester, Lich Bane. Pretty standard.
Starting to see some small trades happening in bot lane right now, which is what you want to see out of the Draven and the Lucian. Their whole entire kit is just winning that early game, and I think whoever can get that advantage can look to really propel their team up ahead this game.
Real missed XP, not level 2.
I think Wingmen should be abusing this right now. They should be stepping up the 9 as much farm as possible, but the Draven's kind of just stepping back.
In the top lane already, Don Fury getting engaged on by Crazy Juggernaut. Flashes and Ghosts. Just Relish. Flash auto attack Ignite, but that's not going to be enough to kill Don Fury as he gets away with just a sliver of health.
And that's all Sum's top lane. J4 is top lane. Looking for a return gank, it would seem.
I think he's just trying to make sure that Don Fury can clear this, because he doesn't have teleport. Don Fury can get really screwed here if he has to get pulled out of lane.
That is the engage from Crazy Juggernaut, but the really well-timed hook from Don Fury prevents any follow-up, and Colby and Don Fury are just going to walk away from it.
I would like to see from Draven, like, what do you guys think is he going to do? The Triforce or Essence Reaver build? Because both builds have seen a lot of success on that champion. What do you guys think is actually the most powerful build for him right now?
With the amount of engage that's on Imagine Cloud, I feel like you need to go Triforce this game for the extra HP.
Yeah, I think the Triforce is probably the best choice here, because he won't get the advantages of having the Essence Reaver this game as much. Like, he doesn't get to sit back and stack up the ability haste, stack up the axes as much as he would. Probably gonna need to pack a lot more punch with the first 1 or 2 autos and then live.
Alright, Pixel Wolf being engaged on is able to stop it with the Tornado, though. That's just a short trade in the bottom lane.
Yeah, pre-6 it is very difficult. Rel should never get a W off. Post-6 though, it's a lot easier.
Heal was blown on the side of Alive, by the way, too.
I see that. Was it for the gap close?
I think he just healed on the, like, as they were both leaving out so they could get out. It's a strange position. Ooh!
Ooh.
Big engage, Alive, exhausted. Nukes has been ignited. Dr. Dad able to root up Colby. Crazy Juggernaut slingshots him back in, and Alive picks up the kill.
Colby planted there.
Yeah, with the flash, yeah. Gotta be careful of this Rel. This Rel's power, ever since the changes, have become very hard to lane against that champion. We do. I don't know if we also noticed that Zach was actually doing some early invading before that fight and before he was down bot lane, and he actually denied Jarvan some CS. He already has double Jarvan's farm, which is very good tempo for Imagine's Cloud.
Yep, and did a very good job counter-engaging there. The Jarvan went in first, and then Zach was able to go counter and kind of win that fight. That's typically how the early game junglers go, right? You track the other jungler. If both of you go in, the one that goes in second typically has that upper hand. Oh.
We have a quick little trade happening top side. We got 3 stacks of bleed, but just Renekton pulls out, knowing that if Darius gets that fight to the stack, he's in trouble.
Zarathai, a reminder that those trades are your calls.
Sorry?
Mr. Play-by-Play? That wasn't quite happening.
Oh, it's a trade. I'm not.
Yeah, it's a small trade. Small trades are actually normally color casters.
He's gotta have something to do.
I disagree. I think that my only job here is to sit here and look pretty. And I'm failing at looking pretty, so I definitely just gotta sit here.
You're gonna do that without a camera on?
Oh, we do see Lethality Draven coming out here. I don't know if that's gonna be a collector or the Clips build, which I just feel like maybe it'll work, especially if we get early armory pin.
Hey, Frostbite, come on, you're the one who should know this. This is almost certainly.
I personally don't like the Lethality Draven build.
No. This is Dirk, Essence Reaver, Yomos.
I always go Essence Reaver first, so I can abuse my W. But that's just me.
The Dirk is the trade, but here is the gate. What the heck?
That's not.
Colby just gets ignited and dies instantly. Don Paris going for the ultimate, but not. Why? Why did that gank have to happen?
A little bit rushed there, given that it was on a full wave.
I believe the J4 was also pretty low by the start of that gank.
Alright, Flash Garden from Pixel Wolf.
They should be able to stack this wave and go for it. Nope, they're not going to go.
Oh, will Renekton die here?
This is dangerous for Darius. I think this is actually more dangerous for Darius with the W.
Oh
just
my
like that.
gosh!
I knew it. I knew the flash W, that empowered W. The CC is just so long for that Darius. He can't do it.
He actually didn't do it the most optimally because he didn't wait for Darius to do any damage to him before stunning him. But ends up working out really well.
He actually stunned him during the Darius Q, so the Darius Q still goes through, but he does tank tower there during the stun.
You're trading pretty heavily in the mid lane, but
double chain, double chains. Good, yeah.
Oh, a flash out of the LeBlanc and a flash out of the.
Oh man!
I think
that's a
he
nice
accidentally double chained. He accidentally double chained without layering it, so he didn't have ultimate, he didn't have dash, and just ended up going down there.
Yeah, Guru was actually out fine, but W on Talia's minefield. You hate to see it.
Unfortunate panic button.
Uh-oh. Oh my.
Oh, it's so close.
By the hair of his chinny chin chin.
I think Wingmen should be looking for this dragon here. Zach is topside. They just saw both of them reset. They should just go for a dragon herald trade.
Jarvan's moving up. I think they want to contest the herald potentially. Instead, okay, nope.
We do have another trade happen in topside. Oh, the pull on the Renekton.
You win. I don't think you win. Yep.
Oh, what the?
The Darius Q flash.
Chain out. Oh, this is dead Darius. Oh, the Q healing.
Just Relish killed himself.
That's a trade.
That's not.
I think Guru
needs sending for a top just for a trade. Although they do get the Herald, but the Herald is still a trade for the dragon.
They can look for a dive on Lucian. They're pinging for it. The Leah's going back there with her wall.
Oh yeah.
As flash, as heal, I think should be fine.
Yep.
Ooh.
Forced to burn the flash, but makes it out.
As good proactivity out of Wingmen there. They knew that the Herald was a lost cause, and they got the Dragon and got a flash out of this enemy AD carry.
Yep, Rail's back here now, so it should be able to go back and hit the wave now. LeBlanc also has the wave push, so they can't exactly stay, even though they don't know for sure that she's going to come down. Can't risk it.
LeBlanc has completed Static Shiv, so you can look for a lot more roaming with that just for the wave clear.
She is up in CS, by the way, too, even without having had Static Shiv, which is not a good look for the Talia, per se.
It is a bit of a rough look for Talia, but also, in the jungle, we see a massive CS gap created by Crazed Juggernaut. Currently 31 farm in the lead. Now, Nano being engaged on, just going to be knocked up, slammed up, and just
it's a
bounced around again.
Talia burned all of her abilities on the waves, so no way to counterplay the engage. Imagine Cloud's gold lead is just growing. Now at 2K.
Yeah, already up 2K. We do see. Oh, what is he? Oh yeah, he is going to Essence Reaver Dirk, I think.
Yep, just sitting on Dirk.
Oh.
That is the Dominus popped by just relished on Paris. Ghosting up will be able to just live out. Ignite not quite ticking enough.
Alright, so what do you guys think that Wingman needs to do to start pulling this game back into them? Because it's already looking like almost a 3K gold lead for Imagine Cloud. What do you guys want to see out of Wingman to try to pull this game back?
I think they're going to need to cash in on the Draven at this point.
Yeah, the Draven's sitting on a lot of stacks at this point.
Can we actually get a stack check? What is he at right now?
352 stacks of adoration.
Oh. Yeah, that is about 900 bonus gold right there.
Yeah, not insignificant amount of money to cash in on.
But unfortunately, Jarvan is on the exact opposite side of him. So I don't think that cash in is coming in anytime soon.
Yeah. Lucian went with the Stormrazor first. How do you guys feel about the Stormrazor? Because I feel like he can get a lot more value out of Kraken now that
the new build is Kraken, right?
Yeah, that's what I've been seeing.
Yeah.
But I guess
Kraken down?
Also has CDR.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
the build that I've seen Lucian go right now is typically the first strike build, but he went press to attack, so see how that pans out. The extra mobility, maybe he'll be able to dodge and weave those tornadoes. Zach is chilling on the bot side, looking to catch this Draven and make him lose his stacks if he ever ascends for this farm.
Somebody balling should die, or needs to die. Either killing this Draven or Draven getting kills.
Oh. That is the flash engage from the Rel. Draven going to be going incredibly low. Nukes ignited up the flash ulti in from Crazed Juggernaut. Not going to be able to pick up either Pixel Wolf or Nukes at this point. But
that
it looks
is
like they're
three
trying to
summoners.
crash the wave.
That is three summoners on Wingman's side for 2. Oh, actually, no, Rel flashed 2, didn't she? That's 3 for 3 trade. I think Draven should not be stepping up here.
Oh, the E is cancelled.
Crazed Juggernaut going for the dive. Crazed Juggernaut exhausted up under tower. Colby interrupting the slingshot.
If Nukes doesn't get this, if Nukes
getting the shutdown.
That is
that is almost a 1,300 gold kill right there.
1,300 gold kill. Colby going incredibly low. Colby going to be going down. Brewer just picks up the last auto attack. Actually goes over to Alive. Dr. Dad looking for more. They're so incredibly low under this tower, but with only 3 minions and low health bars, I think Imagine Cloud has to back away from this one.
Yeah, I don't think
coming up at 20.
Yeah, I don't think Wingman's sad about that trade at all. Yes, it was a little bit of an overextension by the Wingman side, but they did get 1,300 gold onto that Draven, and that puts the gold lead back into a very tangible location for them to deal with.
The Draven is going Triforce, not the Essence Reaver, as previously thought.
I definitely think that is the right call. Definitely needs the more tankier stats with the amount of engage that Imagine Cloud is rocking in this team, plus the bonus movement speed from the passive.
On the Drake here.
Imagine Cloud is starting up. I don't think they can contest. I think this is just a free IC. So I see claiming the second dragon of the game. I didn't even... Oh yeah, no, they picked it up during the trade. I was about to say, I don't remember Wingmen getting the first one. I think Wingman needs to keep playing for this bot side now that Draven getting this huge cash out.
Yeah, definitely need to keep an eye on him. The Jarvan's actually reverse clearing, by the way. He was clearing down and this time clearing up. So it looks like they could be looking to contest the Herald.
If they're looking to contest Herald, I think they need to be putting nukes
Here
to the
is
top
the
side.
engage from Crazy Juggernaut, though, going to pop the ultimate. Pixel Wolf going incredibly low. Pixel Wolf is actually going to just die to alive, and this is a dive in the top lane. Don Marie going down at the same time. Drew picking off with the auto attack.
I think Imagine Cloud is letting the gold go to their head that they got on the Draven, that he's still not that strong. He can't kill this Zac fast enough. Then he'd be playing a little bit more safer until they can get a more solid gold advantage.
And even if he was, it's always better to do the 3v3. I'm not entirely sure why the Jarvan is moving towards top side when he knows the Darius cannot currently fight the Renekton when he has Ignite up.
First tower going over to Renekton. I don't think Darius is going to be doing much this game other than catching waves. Oh, that static shiv is so disgusting. I don't like that item. Why Riot? Why Riot? Clears the whole wave instantly.
And it's not even being gutted next patch, by the way. It's just a little bit... Like, the damage is a little bit down, but if you're ahead, that thing will still clear it.
Oh, alive.
Like
just gonna get dived.
Oh.
Has to flash, maybe taken out by the Whirling Death. Just barely going to avoid it.
That should be it should be a tower trade for the Herald trade. And I think that's actually fine for Wingman because the second Herald just isn't as useful as the first Herald.
So more than likely have to use the bot lane. Can use it... Oh, no, it'll be mid. It should be a mid.
I was about to say, I think if they get mid, that's a lot more value for them. Mid tower gives a lot more vision control.
Did not realize how low that mid tower was. Yeah, that's definitely Herald on mid lane. ASAP Rocky.
We do have a solid farm lead for the Draven. He's starting to stack back those stacks right back up, and if they can get another kill or two on this Draven, he can start taking control, especially once he starts getting these armor pin items. It looks like he's doing Collector second. And I would want to see an LDR coming out of him right after that. He is going to need it for this absolute beefcake of a Imagine Cloud team that he's playing against.
Yep. I believe Night Harvester, yep, is down on the LeBlanc now, so item spikes have been reached for the mid lane. Drake coming up long.
Is it not a Luden's Echo, LeBlanc? Is that not what you're supposed to do, or is it Night Harvester?
I think you go Night Harvester because Shiv also procs Night Harvester.
I see.
It's really annoying.
Yep.
You're just sitting like a mile away, but the Shiv just hits you, and then you get Night Harvestered as well for 400 damage.
Yep, it's a lot of fun. Minute 20 on the Drake here, and you see Imagine Cloud is posturing and holding the division line here, not allowing them to walk in. More than likely going to see this line formation for the next minute or so. And not
It's very hard for Wingmen to walk up into any face check any of these bushes. The Jarvan is not a particularly tanky champion at this point in time.
We got a good trade going for Darius. Darius has 4 stacks on him if the Jarvan can get in range. Oh, Scott.
Great Juggernaut, look for the dive onto Nano. Holy cow, comes flying in on the Elastic Slingshot. Nano just barely going down. Brewer picks it up with the Distortion.
It's a very dangerous power lane there. The Zac
Alive,
power
just
dive
going to be dying to
capabilities.
Nukes. Nukes just needs one more auto attack. Will be able to find it. Gets the shutdown onto Alive at the same time. Picks up 720 gold right then and there. Will go down in exchange. But overall, I think worthwhile for the Draven.
Yeah, Nukes is definitely liking that. There's still a 3k gold league on Imagine's Cloud side, and that's not what you like to see when you're playing Draven, just because you can't really play behind on that champion. He is picking up the gold where he needs to pick it up, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to carry the gold lead that Imagine's Cloud has currently.
He's going BF sword too, so he's not going to be able to cut down tanks with his.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
Like
switching it up.
Another engage from Crazy Argonaut, not going to be able to interrupt the flag and drag, but Pixel Wolf gets stunned up by Dr. Dad, drops the Monsoon, will be able to survive.
Almost dies to the ship rock.
Yep. I don't. Oh
Should
no,
be a free dragon.
Draven did sell the BF sword. He went for the Jelly Cloak long sword, so it looks like he should be picking up LDR here. I think he was thinking about Bloodthirster, but that would definitely not be the call.
Yeah. Very interesting game so far.
Yeah, we have a dragon startup by Imagine Cloud, and Jarvan looks like they get bursted out.
Yeah, Colby taking a whole lot of damage from Gruer, and
just a free dragon for Imagine Cloud. They're on their second one. If they can get a hold of this Ocean Soul, it is going to be a very hard game for Wingman to come back from.
Yep.
Zach and Renekton will just run over everybody.
The positive thing to Wingmen is the fact that they do have one of the Drakes, so that Drake Soul is still quite a bit ways away.
Yeah, we won't be seeing it until 31 minutes.
A lot can happen in 10 minutes.
I think the ignite value might be gone now in terms of that 1v1. But we'll have to see. Trinity is picked up on the side of the Darius, so as long as he can lift past the ignite ticking, he could really win out on those long trades to have a little bit of an advantage in a side wave, given the fact that I don't think the other side is going to win. If you're going to call any win condition for them, is the Darius being able to get back into the game.
Yeah, can we just take a look at the complete vision control kingdom that I feel like Imagine Cloud is running here? The entire bot side of Wingman's jungle is absolutely no vision for Imagine Cloud.
Oh,
holy
or for
cow,
Wingman.
He just made that blade disappear.
We do have a 4-man mid. This looks like a possible dive. Very dangerous. Just Relish is on a ward.
Not quite going to be able to slice and dice out. Heals up so much with the Gore Drinker. Hold up. Donfrey forced to flash over the wall. Nukes actually ends up being the one picking it up in the end. But Just Relish by so much time. Nukes actually losing so much health. That is an engage from Crazy Argonaut. Gruer now here as well. Cold B taking a lot of damage. Does heal up a bit. Alive incredibly low life. Flashes into Donfrey. Nukes going to be going down. After picking up the kill onto Alive, though, Donfrey just trying to get away, has the Q, but going to be pulled right back in by the Zac, and does go down to Gruer. Now, Crazy Argonaut hunting down Pixel Wolf, trying to find this Janna, and Gruer almost certainly will just hit with the chain and pick up that Janna.
Yeah, so a 4-for-2 trade. Draven did get both those kills, but he didn't have a huge amount of stacks, so the gold definitely going in favor of Imagine Cloud that fight.
Yep. You did see the potential of the Draven being able to pump out damage. Now has the LDR. If his team can buy him space, he is able to do work. But unfortunately, there in that corridor against the enemy team, just could not really make it happen for himself.
Yeah, it's sad to not see Nano in that fight. That's the exact conditions you want to be fighting in those tight corridors with that LeBlanc versus all these dashes.
It's definitely a lot harder for Wingmen to break through the front line of Imagine Cloud than it is vice versa. The Jarvan just kind of seems like a paper bag at this point.
Yep. We have 3 items on the Blanc. She's picked up the Rabadon's Death Cap, so Nukes has to be very careful here that LeBlanc will 2-shot him in essence with an auto attack EQ. Just Relish might be overextending here. It gets knocked up.
Dominus
Off
off.
the Dominus. That is the Cataclysm coming out. Just Relish has the Slice and Dice. Will make it over the wall. Not going to be able to get too far away, though. Call the Meek not healing nearly enough. Colby ignited,
They will
but
be getting
continues walking
prepared for
around.
this, though.
I think Wingman just needs to push mid here, get as much tower gold as they can. They cannot get to this Baron in time.
And going to be going for the contest, though. Whirling Death comes out. Gruer doing so much damage, but taking a lot more in exchange. Nukes with the Trinity Force, able to trade so heavily. That is the wall coming out. Gruer's clone stuck on the wrong side, but the real one all the way in the land of freedom. Donfrey continues going in. What the heck?
I think Wingman can definitely get 2 towers here. The mid and top tower are open to take, and those are 2 objective bounties, so it's going to be pretty good for their closing this gold gap. Currently 5,000 gold in favor of Magic Cloud.
You need to be doing it quickly, given that the Drake is spawning in 40
Dragon
seconds,
is
and they
up
will.
in 30.
Yep. I don't think they will be back in time for it, but given how late this
Dr.
tower is
Dad.
being taken.
Oh, not going to be able to find Nukes. Nukes just chunking Dr. Dad for half of Dr. Dad's life bar.
Yeah, that is a good trade. That gives them an advantage for this upcoming Dragon fight. We did get 2 resets out of Wingman, so at least 2 of their members were able to cash in that gold value that they got. Oh, they might be just giving this Dragon. Looks like we got 3 backs coming in.
Yep. Yeah, they are giving it up. They took the tower instead.
I think Colby should honestly just look for a steal here. He's not worth that much gold. He's 0-4. Zach with the engage.
The elastic slingshot in, not doing a whole lot. A lot of time being bought for Nukes and Pixel Wolf to get back to this fight, though. Now Nano, Pixel Wolf, and Nukes are all here. The cuddling comes out, not taking a whole lot of damage. Colby, alive, dashes into the wall. The Whirling Death does a whole lot of damage. That is going to be just going down. Crazy Sucker not taking a whole lot of damage. That is a massive Magic Storm, but it's not enough. Too little, too late. Nukes gets a triple kill.
Quadra kill for the Draven. LeBlanc was split pushing. She's going to get this inhibitor, which, I mean, I guess that's about as good as it can get for Imagine Cloud. That was a very rough fight. I felt like LeBlanc could have TP'd in there and done a lot. She is a lot of the gold difference here. I can't pull up the gold chart, so I don't actually know how much gold she's up, but
she's up 3,500 gold on her lane opponent. But
yeah, she is literally the gold gap.
Before this fight, she had more gold than Draven. Now she no longer does.
Yeah, she was the gold gap, and her not being in that fight is very detrimental. Draven does get a solo tier 2 tower. That's another 700 gold going right into that Draven's pocket, and that should be a full item on back.
It certainly will be.
Yeah, he's sitting on 3,100 right now.
Yeah. Item and a half, baby. Should be BT, right? Be BT plus GA, maybe?
Yeah, that or actually I think Rapid Fire Cannon is more valuable for him here just because of the low range of our Imagine Cloud.
It'll be
but
GA.
Yeah, he's going GA.
Well, he could sell, like, after he uses it, just go.
True. GA is not bad here because he is the team at this point, 8-2 with all those cash-ins. We do have a whole breaker picked up by this Darius, so it looks like Darius will be trying to answer whatever split push is happening from now on. And we have the Lich Bane out of LeBlanc, so her auto attacks are just that much stronger.
Did want to give a little props to Dawn Faith being able to walk into the enemy team and actually get a double hook onto their backline that ended up being able to get.
Holy cow! Pixel Wolf just gets annihilated.
That is a level 18 LeBlanc for you right there. You gotta respect the vision game here.
Just like that, huh? That looked balanced.
What level is the Janna right now?
I think she's well over 11.
That is a, yeah, that's like a 6 or 7 level diff. Can't say I'm surprised you got
sitting on flank.
I don't know who can answer this LeBlanc actually. Like I don't think they have anyone that can answer the split push here.
Yeah, I don't believe so. No.
Great Juggernaut channeling the slingshot. Not gonna use it.
They don't have any wave clear right now. That's going to be a tier 2 going down. They need to make sure they hold these inhibitors. They don't want to go down 2 inhibitors before this Baron.
Ghosting in. Flash is in. Going to be the Gale Force away. That is Crazy Juggernaut getting a big engage, but they're not going to be able to find nukes yet. Nano taking a whole lot of damage. Crazy Juggernaut, Chest Relish going down. Cash in picked up by the Draven. Dr. Dad going down. Brewer is picking up so much. And it's a quadra kill, triple kill for Alive.
I think that's game right there. Yeah, they have the supers pushing topside. I mean, that was a good attempt by Wingman. They definitely changed it up. The Draven did get the kills, but it just wasn't enough to compete with the Lucian and the LeBlanc damage that was being outputted.
Yep, the Lucian ended up being able to shine in the last fight as they engaged, but they couldn't quite get him. And the LeBlanc doing a major distraction meant that she could pump out damage there. And I was the only one that believed in them, but it will be an Imagine Cloud 2-0 into the Wingmen. Last thoughts, boys?
I mean, I know I said 2-1 Wingman, but I'm not surprised that Imagine Cloud was able to take that. I thought it would be a little bit closer just because Nukes shifted into the bot lane, and that second game did show his prowess. If you look at the damage charts, he has the most damage in the game. But the first game, the fumbles from the first game, I think just got into their head, and Imagine Cloud was able to capitalize on it.
Yeah, a couple mistakes coming in from Colby on some of the pathing stuff that I'd be critical of. You know, hovering for top lane when he should have been hovering for bot lane in some of those instances. That meant Draven didn't really get to push his lead as much in the early game. Any more thoughts before we talk about the next matchup coming up here in a little bit?
Wingman definitely put a good showing. You know, I think maybe if they had decided to make this role swap a few weeks ago and got some time to really practice it and get a lot more comfortable on it, then I think that they would have definitely been doing a lot better.
Yeah.
Well, that is our first team in BTL eliminated from reaching finals. And that puts what, Imagine Cloud versus DPS? How do you guys feel about the matchup that's going into that?
Let me look see real quick. So DPS ended 3-4, right?
Yep.
Looking at it, they, like you talked about off cast, that's another really strong bot lane that they're going to be going up against, right? So the emphasis could be on those bot lanes yet again. Brewer, also want to give a shout out to him. Popped off in the first game with Victor, kept them in the game for the most part while alive. Barely stayed alive with D'Amelio. That three-man combo is actually going into DPS's strong three-man combo. What do you guys think about that?
I think DPS is the stronger team here by show of standings, and on top of DPS holding the 2-0 record over Imagine Cloud. So Imagine Cloud definitely has a lot to look at from what they did last, I think it was week 4. And I do think DPS's bot lane can be a force to be reckoned with. Personally, I think they're one of the strongest bot lanes in the league right now. So I think it's going to be very heavily based off, like you were saying, how well they play that 3v3 fight in the bot lane.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Do you guys
it's
think
very much going to be a better bot wins game or series?
Do you guys think them playing this matchup has any relevancy into it? Like they're coming off 2 games where they played really well. Do you think that will play into the matchup at all?
I think what is it called? I can't even remember the word.
Hot streak?
Yeah, hot streak. I think the hot streak will definitely play a factor in it. You always play better when you know that you're just on this big win. But I think if DPS can take that first game off of them, it could go into their heads, and it could be very dangerous. But if they can keep the hot streak going, I think it could be looking very good for Imagine Cloud's side. So we'll just have to see how they do.
Yeah, we will have to see how Imagine Cloud do in their matchup up against DPS. But that is a story.
Can we drag somebody in for an interview, by the way?
Drag someone in for an interview?
Citizen.
Yeah, I can do that. Who did we think the MVP for this series was? I'm giving it to Brewer.
Brewer game 2 absolutely performed. That's true.
Drag him in, because
They're all
Alive is no
leaving.
longer there anyway.
They're all leaving. Pull them in.
Brewer, you've been kidnapped.
Oh, hello.
Welcome to the
Hello,
stream. We have some questions for you. You're our MVP for the series, and I don't know what the questions are because we didn't actually discuss any of this. So
how were you guys? How did you guys feel going into that series? Like, what were you guys' expectations? Do you guys think Wingmen played better than what you guys were expecting? I know it was a little bit of a blindside when Nukes went to the AD carry role. How were you guys feeling once you figured out that Nukes was playing ADC?
The switch up kind of just threw our draft off because we'd been planning to ban a couple junglers from Nukes. So we kind of had to pivot right there. But I felt confident. I mean, if we just draft the way we did, like get good compositions first, I think we can beat anybody.
And how do you guys? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Now, you had a couple really good flanks coming into those games. How did you feel, especially going into there with your picks? Obviously, you got LeBlanc last pick, not typical last pick, usually a pick that's picked early on, and then your Victor, which I think was more of a comfort pick than anything. How do you feel you performed here? Obviously, you got
Victor's my most played this split by a decent amount, I think. So I feel confident on that at really any point. And then LeBlanc was just kind of, like last pick, but I think she's really strong right now. And it looked pretty good on the patch, and we kind of just wanted to try it. So it worked out pretty well.
And it did very, very well. Yeah.
So how do you guys feel about going into DPS now? Because you guys already knew who your next opponent would be. DPS does hold the record over you guys. What is your preparation going into that game, and how do you guys think you will fare against the DPS?
DPS is a really good team. I'm actually surprised that we're like playing them next. I know like based on how the season started, they were looking really, really hot. And I really didn't follow everybody's games, so I'm kind of surprised they're like who we're playing right now. We have respect for them. They're a good team. But I think we've improved a lot since the last time we played them. So I think it should go better.
Well, if you had to predict your own game, how do you think it's going to go out for you? It's going to be a clean 2-0, 2-1?
Oh, man. Honestly, this 2-0 was a little too quick. I enjoy getting to watch the games back later, so for the content, I think we'll probably get them in a nice, dramatic 2-1.
All right.
Anyway, I respect it. Yeah.
My question then becomes, if you were to make it past the gauntlet, who would you like to be picked between Rat Legion and Knights of Ishtar?
Honestly, hadn't given it much thought. I got to get there first. Got 3 more matches to go. But I think if anybody's joking themselves, I think Koi will definitely just take whoever the person out of the gauntlet is. I don't think they're going to opt into playing FFC before they have to.
Oh, you don't know. You don't know our grand master plan quite yet.
Would you like to?
I don't even know. I'm not going to lie.
I'm excited to see those. Could be some good matches either way.
Ban Ezreal. Zarathai can't play lane. Zarathai ints. Win bot lane, win game. Easy peasy. Cash that check right now.
You heard it here first.
All right. Well, thank you for joining. Does anyone else have any more questions?
Nope, that's it for me.
All right. Well,
any
thanks for
shout-outs
joining
you
us,
want to
Brewer.
give the stream, Brewer?
Shout out to all Imagine Cloud fans out there. Couldn't do it without y'all. And
Great
I'll
people.
probably catch y'all in the booth after the next match, so I'll talk to y'all later.
Ooh, calling it early, saying he's going to
Holy.
be MVP for the DPS match. I can't wait to see it. It's going to be hopefully a complete bloodbath. I want to see the blood all over the rift.
Sounds good. I'll catch y'all later.
Thank you so much for joining us in the interview, and thank you everybody for watching along with us on the stream. We will be back in just about 1 hour. Don't go anywhere. Well, maybe do go somewhere. Go get food. Go relax. But we will be back.